All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to the first opportunity for public comment. Public comment guidelines are each individual will state their name and have 3 minutes to address the board. Subject matter must be pertinent to the items on the agenda. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate or answer questions at this time. Is there any public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Way, 1034 Crestwood, Summit Township. I'm coming this morning to speak in support of item 4H, updates the policy 8350 road sign policy, assuming that that would take care of the telephone poles and all the major intersections we have through the county. They're just plastered with signs that are, now they're even screwing the signs onto the, and it's just it's a terrible first impression, in my opinion, for visitors to our community. I'd invite you to go look at some of this. When you pass them by every day, after a while you don't see them. But it's really an eyesore. It's a poor first impression for our community. And it would be, I know we're all busy with everything, but it'd be a great way to help beautify our community. And I think a good first start could possibly be the intersections out on Airport Road where we're doing all the great construction, which I'm going to love come November. But all those sections, all those intersections out on Airport Road, you know, some of those telephone poles have 6, 7 signs on them. And it's just, you know, they're worn now. The winds fold them in two, and it just looks really tacky. But I am in support of your proposed policy as long as it includes that, and we need to beautify our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Morning, Commissioners. I sent you all a fairly lengthy email last night on 2 issues, both dealing with JC right-of-way issues, which is on the agenda for the signs. Included was an attachment of an agreement to allow Blackman Township to remove signs. Looks like the policy that you've got would cover that. We would appreciate the ability to go out and do that, so hopefully it'll get formalized. Second issue was also dealing with the right-of-way and dumping issues. Committee members got the email, but it's to do specifically with Leroy Street, an issue of a large amount of mattresses that were dumped in the roadway, apparently pushed to the side by JC like what happened in Norval. And there's been extensive emails back and forth between the administrator and I and others. And this just can't be. There was a question asked if it should be the townships that are responsible for that. I do not believe that's the case. Clearly, Act 51 money is for taking care of the right-of-way, and JC takes care of everything else in the right-of-way. Issues like this have to fall under the same thing. So hopefully you can find a way to address that and take care of the issue at hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Any public comment? Last opportunity for public comment. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. It takes us to item 4A, committee items, minutes. Be looking for a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham. Supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Takes us to item 4B, appointments. I'm going to need your assistance on that because, thank you. We have the Joint Airport Zoning Board, one of the 2 members from townships within 10 miles, current member being Jack Koch. No one has applied, and there's no recommendation at this time. Also, 1 member from the county outside the 10-mile radius. Thomas Schaffner is the current member. There is also not an applicant for that. So If commissioners want to reach out to people and maybe we can get some applicants before Tuesday night, maybe we could fill these positions, but yeah, Commissioner Bear?
Which item are you saying there's no applicant for?
What I'm looking at, the Joint Airport Zoning Board. There's 2 seats, one of 2 members from townships within 10 miles and 1 member from county outside 10-mile radius. You're welcome.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
have we contacted the sitting members and make sure they
Yes,
got notice?
actually, you received emails from Samantha. She actually did a great job notifying all current members that haven't reapplied. I don't think she got responses, unfortunately. But that'll take us down to the emergency management. Yes, sorry, Commissioner Williams.
Not a problem. So I noticed, or I may have heard you wrong. If I did, I apologize. Thomas Chapman
Yes.
did apply.
No, he's a current, what's that?
According to the document here, it says that he did apply.
Okay, my document, I don't have my computer working,
Oh, okay.
so I'm going off a paper document.
Gotcha.
Let me have her pull this up for me. Thank you. Okay, we will back up. So for the Joint Airport Zoning Board, 1 member from the county outside 10-mile radius, Thomas Schaffner, is the current member. He did reapply.
I nominate him.
Okay? Any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor of Mr. Schaffner, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, Mr. Schaffner will be the committee recommendation. That now takes us to the Emergency Management Advisory Council. There's 2 citizens at large positions. One is Jeff Kirkpatrick. He has not reapplied, but at the position below, I see 2 applicants. So is it possible that those 2 that are applying for the second seat, one could be put into the first seat? Okay. All right, so what, Commissioner Bear?
For the first at-large position, I would nominate Sarah Comanche.
Okay, is there any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor of Sarah Gamache, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? She will be the committee recommendation for the first seat. The second seat, Tim McEldowney is the current member, and he has reapplied.
Nominate Mr. McElvany.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor of Mr. McEldowney, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. McEldowney will be the recommendation for the second. That now takes us to the Community Corrections Advisory Board. We have the public defender is vacant. There's no applicant. We'll reach out to them again. Under the Circuit Court Judge Proxy Designee, it's currently vacant. Mr. Stressman, Jacob Stressman, has applied. I would nominate Mr. Stressman. Is there any other nominations from the floor? Seeing none, all in favor of Mr. Stressman, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? He will be the recommendation for that position. Takes us to item 4C, Office of the Public Defender Quarterly Report.
Good morning, council members. Kevin Rogers from the Public Defender's Office.
I don't want to see. I'll just watch.
I really don't have any information outside of what's in the report. I could address and apologize for submitting the report with a typo that appears on page 2. There's an if in quotation marks there under the Powell versus Alabama heading. What I wanted to do for everybody is, and I've received some questions from time to time, I'm making reports in the community, where do we come from? And, how are we doing what we're doing, and what are the origins of our department here? As I can walk you through what I've laid out, it goes back to the Sixth Amendment and a little bit before that was established, to President Adams representing those people who fired on, future citizens of our nation, the British, when they did the Boston Massacre. So John was not a president then, but he was a lawyer, and they needed somebody to represent these people. And I think that, you know, our history shows that he stepped up in a way that really grounds our department in its foundations, that everybody, regardless of who they are, where they came from, when they're here, they will be subject to due process, because we really want it to be a nation of laws and not a nation that just reacts on gut feelings and, you know, the current political winds, whichever way they might be blowing. So obviously, we embedded that in our Constitution in the Sixth Amendment, and that's kind of how we, you know, you might hear us jokingly refer to our building as Sixth Street. It's not on Sixth Street, but that's sort of the way we operate from, with that little moniker. That took us some years and years and years later into Powell versus Alabama, and that's where that little "if" is in parentheses. What I think I was going to say there is a little bit more, but then I ran out of space. You know, the promise means something if it's timely and effective, if due process is to be real, and if we're to give that right meaning, we just have to consistently apply it, and we have to build it up. We have to make sure that the people doing the work are qualified to do the work. And that continues to this day. Our standards that we are governed by, with the CLEs that we're required to do, with the hiring practices that we have to maintain, we make sure that the council that we are appointing on taxpayer-funded dollars are timely and effective, that they know what they're doing, they know what resources they have, and they know how to manage a case. And this quarterly report covers the month of March. So Gideon versus Wainwright was kind of our seminal case, and that was published on March 18th. And that is known as National Public Defender Day. I did not know that until I did this work, and that was taught to me by some mentors that I had.
Elaine, this is Phil.
So, I think that's kind of what I meant to say there. The Gideon versus Wainwright decision, I'll backtrack a little. I apologize, I got a little bit distracted. You know, why do we have the budget that we have? Why do we do what we do? Around the 60s, the early 60s, there was an incredible buildup of governmental power and its prowess to prosecute cases. A little bit by J. Edgar Hoover in the FBI, but the machinery to ferret out crime, which is a good thing in our community. We want things that are not done according to the laws that we've passed to be brought into the light of day and tried. But correspondingly, there has to be a way for the people that are accused of those crimes to react at scale. So that's what Gideon versus Wainwright did, and it was just an incredible case. Mr. Gideon was in a pool hall. He was accused of a crime that was a capital crime, and he became his own lawyer. He had to write his own appeal. He had to write all of his own documents, and it was incredibly tilted against him until somebody stepped in and said, "This isn't right. We need somebody to help this man." And that person turned out to be an incredibly well-trained attorney who ultimately sat on our Supreme Court. So that's just a little history of our origins in public defense. And we thought it would be good for everybody to know that. As I go through the rest of the report, what really stands out to me is, again, our social worker. There is a pilot project where we are trying to, you know, save some money and streamline some processes with people reentering the community. They're going to come out of incarceration, hopefully having bettered the ways that brought them there. But people like that, you know, we call it baggage or draft. There's quite a bit of things that follow them into incarceration sometimes, and they tend to be these misdemeanor crimes from other jurisdictions that would cause them to be held and incarcerated longer, and then they get out, and then they're picked up and they're rearrested, and it starts the whole very good thing that we want to have happen. The whole due process model begins again. But if we can intercept that and maybe get some people before these courts where they have some outstanding baggage and get them to clear that, I think it will make for a more successful reentry, which will reduce recidivism, which is sort of really what we're all about. So that is it. I can field any questions you may have, but otherwise I just ask that you approve our quarterly report and recommend it to the board.
Thank you. Sorry for the discussion. We're having technical issues up here as what's going on. We're not ignoring
All
it.
right.
Commissioner Bear. Is your microphone on, Commissioner Bear?
Thank you. I forgot my microphone. On the third page of your PowerPoint here, MIDC standards compliance.
Yes.
There are some new policies. The third bullet point, MIDC caseload reporting pilot, successful. Launched officially to monitor attorney caseload limits. So I can see that makes sense. You don't want to overwork these people, or
Correct.
they don't be able to do their job well. But then later on, under the public defender staffing, you state that you are short 6 staff. So if you are short 6 staff, how can you get all of the caseload done without overloading some of these people? You got caseload limits that you're reporting. So how do you handle that?
We have 3 different sources of attorneys that we can pull from, essentially. Our full-time employees. We have 3 different sources of attorneys that we can pull from to assign work to. Our full-time employees that are paid by and through our relationship with the county. Roster attorneys, which are sort of subdivided into 2 categories. Appointment for the purposes of a conflict of interest or for overflow. And then there's a statewide network of attorneys that we can also use. It is the Michigan Assigned Counsel System. We can use them as well. So to keep our caseload limits for full-time employees and our roster attorneys at where they should be, we can draw from a third source as well. So we're pretty successful. I think we're a really good hybrid model, which is ultimately what all public defender offices would have to be. We can't just be brick and mortar, because the same attorney can't represent a group of clients when there's a conflict of interest, and that conflict of interest is passed on to any other attorney in the firm. So I can't represent somebody in my firm, if you will, if they have an interest that's adverse to a former client. So we have some staff that track those conflicts and keep track of past clients and what our relationship with them was, whether they were a witness, an alleged victim, or an actual client. Or ultimately, if the case was disposed of and they were victims, then we would say that they were victims of a crime.
All right, thank you for that explanation. I appreciate it.
All right, any other questions, Commissioner? Yes, Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I had my first question was similar to Commissioner Bear's, but my second question is I've noticed that the prosecutor's office will often reference various community meetings that she might, or that she or her office would attend. And I was just curious if you have a list of community meetings that you or your office may attend as well.
I don't have that on hand. Our office is newer, and that is a role that I am trying to step into to become a more visible public presence. And I'm really glad you asked that, because I have been working on what appears on slide number 2 to be sort of one of those meetings. I've been approached about going to, I think it was a Rotary Club meeting, and slide number 2 represents something that I would be willing to do at meetings throughout the community. And it's another fortunate segue. Councilman Williams, if anybody here would like me to come to any of their community meetings that you hold as commissioners, I'd be happy to appear and say this or something like it, or address a concern that any of your constituents have for how we do our work within the community.
Okay. Thank you. We can talk offline further.
Okay.
Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chair.
All right, I'd be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear, supported by Williams. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Takes us to item D, the 911 grant approval, MSP. Good morning.
Morning, how you guys doing today? This morning? So I have before you a grant proposal that we did get awarded by the state of Michigan. It's a critical infrastructure grant. The motion requested was approve the signing of the MSP Critical Infrastructure Grant for $7,138. I did pull up my notes and paperwork from, so I did have a couple errors. I apologize. There's the May 15th deadline. That is to sign the reward, telling the state we will, but the rest of the paperwork's not due until the 28th of May. So there's 2 deadlines for me that I have to meet. So my apologies. We put in for the grant on the 2nd. The funding was for about $25,000 for dispatch centers to develop the critical mapping within our county, which we do not really have within our CAD map right now. With ever-changing lands and GIS, we are looking at getting pictometry into our CAD mapping, which is the angles of buildings, the floors. We were awarded on the grant on April 5th. The current situation is our CAD maps don't have the pictometry within our system, like I've discussed. I have talked with IT, Ben Muscat, and our GIS to try to figure out a way to put pictometry into our CAD maps and to gather a picker. A picker is what we take out and pick out a floor of a multi-building and be able to turn the floor up to be able to look directly into it, to give us all the room numbers, all the corridors, all that. That's what the end goal is. So the grant will help us build that out with dispatch, GIS, and IT. The building layouts, the company was called CRG. CRG is the company that did all the schools, colleges, and the universities the past 3 to 4 years. They're the ones that will be doing this for us as well. The building we picked is the courthouse. There is no match for this, so there is no financial on our end. And there will be another grant, a little bit larger, next year coming out in February, which what we've discussed is putting a committee together, trying to figure out what our critical infrastructure buildings are in Jackson, and then try to do as many as we can with that grant.
Okay. And I believe this doesn't need to be approved today. We can forward it to the full board and vote on it Tuesday night, correct?
The only thing I would need to be approved would be the actual reward, which is the 2 dates I misspoke about. So the 15th is, I have to have that reward signed by the board of chair. I apologize. And then the 28th is when I have to have everything else signed. There's two pieces of paperwork.
Okay.
So I apologize. I know I spoke earlier, but I did look at my email from the state, and the reward has to be signed by the 15th.
Okay, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the reward. Moved by Bear, supported by Walls. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you could do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bear,
Yes.
Commissioner Walls,
Yes.
Commissioner Duckham. Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Committee Chair Kennedy.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Then I would be looking for a second motion to forward to the full board with recommendation of approval, the partnership agreement. Moved by Bear, supported by Duckham. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes unanimously. That takes us to your quarterly report, I believe.
Thank you, guys. So this past quarter, we've done 113 FOIAs through our QA software and 141 through agencies, things of that nature, outside the QA software. There's 5 pings that we did so far this year, and then also the list of trainings that my staff has gone on the past quarter. I did turn in the SNC paperwork, which is due on May 15th as well. I apologize on that. That is what provides us the surcharge money here in Jackson County to run dispatch. Again, we received the MSP grant. We still, the community project we did with Gary Peters and Tim Wahlberg, that did pass the first appropriations committee. So I think what I was told last time that we'll find out something by October, and that was for the radio grant project.
You said it didn't pass in their committee?
It did pass their committee.
did.
It did pass the first appropriations committee, yep.
All right.
Monthly validations is something we do every month, so every PPO that's entered in this county, we have to review. And double check, make sure everything's correct. Mental health meeting with Lifeways. We are partnering with Lifeways and Wayne State University again. Wayne State received $4 million to partner with dispatch centers. So we've had about 2 or 3 meetings so far. We have another meeting this week. What we are discussing is Wayne State paying to have a behavioral health crisis directly in our dispatch center paid by that grant. Don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but that is one of the big items we are talking about. So when I hear more, we discuss more, have more detail, we will bring it to this board. FCC Phase 2 for NG 911. The state did sign the letter stating that the state of Michigan was ready for the next gen 911 Phase 2. What that consists of is geo-routing. Making sure every call in this county goes to our dispatch center, no matter where they're located at or where they're driving at. That brings us the Z-axis, which is why the angles of a building comes in play now. It will be able to tell you exactly what floor you're on. We've been receiving that from most of the carriers probably for the past year. So it'll be very helpful if we can actually have maps that can determine exactly where they're at as well. We had some addressing issues on Harvey Drive. There is one in Leone Township and one in Napoleon Township. Met with several people from both areas, and Napoleon was actually changing their name to a different name, so it didn't cause issues not only with dispatch, but also with their UPS drivers, the mail drivers, FedEx as well. And Ellis Drive, also another issue with that mapping or addresses, and the township is taking care of that. So very happy with that.
So you're saying there's duplicate addresses in the county and they're going to change the name of a road?
Yep, the citizens on the street decided to change as a group,
Okay,
which made it very nice.
gotcha.
They've had issues for, they said, 10, 20 years. Because of that, they decided to change their name in Napoleon.
Gotcha.
And the bad thing is they have the same mail carrier as well, Leone Township, which also caused the other major issue.
Uh-huh.
So far this year, we have total of 34 service providers in Jackson County. That is carriers. So it's like Verizon, T-Mobile, things of that nature. We have a total of 34. Increase the call volume was 4% from SMS incoming texts. We have had 335 and 63 outgoing texts. The average ring time is 5.2 seconds, so that's probably about the second or third ring. Average talk time is 93 seconds. Total incidents year to date when I pulled this report was 46,946. The busiest hours for this quarter was March 13th. And then the police calls, time of dispatch, you can see it, again, it gets busy around 3 o'clock and stays busy until about 10 o'clock at night. And then the 15 calls this year compared to the previous year is also on there. And then time of day for the fire departments, similar to that, the police departments. And then the second to last page is the total calls for each agency. 2025 compared to 2026.
Complete it, your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any questions from committee members? Commissioner Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I look at the time of day for 2026 fire, I'm assuming that includes EMS calls.
Yes, That does.
Is there any way to split those out?
Yes, I can split them up.
I would like to see that report.
Okay.
Since the interface that we created with HVA, we actually can split those numbers up now as they are just ambulance calls for them now. So, yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Only question I have is, when we invested in, I'm forgetting the name, but with Huron Valley,
Yep, Huron Valley.
has there been any feedback? Is that a positive thing, or you haven't heard much on it?
Myself and Rebecca meet almost monthly. It's positive feedback from everybody. There is concerns from law enforcement and fire, is because when the narrative gets added, it adds a lot of narrative to where they're looking at, and so they have to kind of go through it line by line. So we're trying to get Tyler to kind of take out the stuff that's not needed and only the narrative.
Concise and to the point more? Gotcha.
Correct.
Wonder if AI could do that.
I do not know. I'm sure they could, though.
All right. We'll be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Duckham, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, that passes unanimously. Have a great day. That'll take us now to item F, Jackson County Department of Transportation, underbody blades. And Angela is here. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so this is our underbody blades for our snowplows and for our grader. We put it out to bid. We had 5 bidders respond, and we are asking for approval to authorize it to St. Regis Culvert for the cost of $130,987.50.
And I'm trying to look here. I don't have mine in front of me. Is this approval for today, or is this going to the full board?
I believe full board.
Okay. Be looking for a motion to forward to the full board with recommendation of approval. Moved by Duckham, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one quick question for you. On the underbody blades, once they're, I guess, of no use, can they be resharpened and used for other purposes?
We tend to use them till they're not usable anymore, and then we recycle them.
Okay, so when they're not usable, oh, you said you recycle. Okay, so good. So when they're not, when you can't use them anymore, are they because they're chipped or dull or?
Well, we use them
Both?
till they're pretty much non-existent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nothing
because
left.
they're
Okay.
there on there, and then there's a bar that we don't want to wear into. On
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Nothing further.
Yep.
All right. And if no other discussion or questions, we have a motion, correct? All right. Could you do a roll call vote on that, please?
Commissioner Walls,
Yes.
Commissioner Duckham,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bear,
Yes.
Committee Chair Kennedy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. That'll take us to item G, the monthly report from J.C. Dot.
All right, so our first part of the report are the grant projects, and we have our South Jackson Road Safety Improvement Project that's ongoing. They still have the signage and pavement marking and slope restoration remaining. Our curve signs, we're, looks like about halfway, just over halfway complete for that safety project. Our Spring Arbor signal upgrade, the new signals heads have been installed. Pavement markings and the signs will be installed yet this spring sometime. It's almost summer, but soon. If you have drove by Airport Corridor, that is under construction. They've done the slope restoration, or not slope restoration, the removal of the grass, and they're digging out there for the road widening. The milling and the paving will be completed during the nighttime there. And then we are coordinating with that paving contractor to then do the O'Neill Drive night milling and paving for us. I do have some updates that aren't in there real quick that I'll go over for bridge projects. So the Albion Bridge is starting after July 4th and will be open to traffic October 13th. With the final completion date, probably the next construction season for punch list items. King Road mill and fill will start the week of May 14th, and it will be closed down for a couple weeks. Could be a couple days, but we're saying a couple weeks in case there's anything under that 2-inch mill that they have to fix. We have their Trist Road pre-con tomorrow, so we'll know more after that meeting for that bridge. Parnell Road is a June 4th bridge PM project that will start. And then the Hague Road, they did their preventive maintenance work. Now we're waiting for the temps to rise to above 50 degrees for 48 hours before we can do the epoxy on that. And that is a summary of our bridge projects currently for grants. So now I'll go to the local portion of our update. We do have all of our contracts that we have under contract for locals this year in the update, and we've created our maps. We have some pictures of our O'Neill project that's ongoing, our Columbia Township, Concord. All the townships that we have projects with this summer are in here now. If you have questions, you can direct them to Jim. Then we get to our maintenance items. We have our Q Alert summary in there. As of April, we have on the left, and then I just left the March in there again so you can see how many calls we're getting right now. Spring is always a very heavy time for calling in and complaining about different things to our agency. So we're working hard to stay on top of those numbers. Our patching slide shows our April totals, almost 700 tons in April. And then we have our permit numbers for April, 16 oversized, 135 right-of-way, and 60 inspections she did. And then I just did our MTF payments. So you can see it hasn't gone up yet. Fingers crossed, hopefully next month it will go up. But we have our March payment in there, which is below the estimated amount that we projected to have.
That's the report. Okay. Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Bear?
Thank you, John. The Airport Road Corridor Improvement Project. Thus far, I'm pleased with the way traffic is moving through there. There haven't been any big bottlenecks and can get through that area pretty much as quickly as you used to. Only comment I'd make is that some of the gravel that is put in at the end of the workday to give access from Airport Road to different merchants there, sometimes that's kind of rough, or potholes within that. It's quite a transition from those temporary gravel drives up onto Airport Road. So that would be my only comment, that I would like to see them address that a little bit better. But overall, I'm pleased with the way the project's going.
Good.
And I drive it frequently.
Good, thank you.
Any other committee questions? Commissioner Duckham? And
Yes, thank you. A couple of things. Ponderosa Drive, going into the subdivision where Corey lives. I mentioned it was getting bad, real bad, last month, and you asked me if I'd seen it lately.
Yep.
I hesitate to drive my four-wheel drive pickup through there. It is horrible.
Yep, I drove
Have
it
you seen it
also.
lately?
Say that again?
Have you seen it lately?
Yes, I have been out there. We plan to do a skip patch on that at some point. Right now, I can't tell you when because we're on the higher speed limit roads still with that, but our skip paving started today, and we will be there eventually to skip pave the entrance
You know,
and then patch the
a
rest.
request was sent in a month and a half ago.
We
on
have
that.
to prioritize by safety. We just started using hot mix April 20th. The speed limit's 25 on Ponderosa.
That's just, I don't know what to say. It's just not satisfactory. With cars driving in there, they must go around to the other entranceway. It's horrible.
You can drive down it. It's a very wide road. I know it's in bad condition, but you can get through it.
Supposed to stay in your lane on your side of the road.
It's a 25. When you have a 35, 45, 55 that's got potholes like that, you need to patch them first.
Okay, secondly, the mattresses on Leroy Street, your department can't pick those up?
No. But I do believe the property owner is picking them up. We talked to him and
Who's
he's,
that?
the property owner at the end is going to pick them up.
Okay.
He's happy to clean it up.
I don't want to get in the habit of picking litter up alongside the road. That's not what you guys are supposed to be doing.
Nope.
But 15 or so mattresses they got to be removed. If we leave them there, it attracts more dumping.
I agree, but it's not our agency's responsibility to do it.
Maybe the health department?
Whoever does it needs to have the proper training because unfortunately,
All right,
in
all right,
today's
okay.
society, there's a bunch of things
Okay,
that could
thank
be
you.
there in there unsafe.
Thank
But
you.
yes, somebody that wants to pay for it is who needs to do it, but we don't have the funding to pay for that.
Act 51 money
Is to keep the
uses require you to patch the roads, pave the roads, whatever.
motoring
Work
public
in the
safe.
road right away.
Keep the motoring public safe. So when we got called out to the
Setting on
mattresses,
asphalt.
we moved them down to the end where there's not a safety concern. We used a blade and pushed them down so that the motoring public is safe.
You used a blade to push them down.
Yep. Because again, our people are not trained to remove. You have no clue what you're going to find in there.
What training do you need to pick up a mattress?
Well, we used to get meth lab training. You don't know what's in there.
You've got a big
Needles.
bucket loader.
We don't have like a claw to pick them up or anything. It
You
takes
scoop it in the
manual
bucket.
labor.
Are you being told, do you know if you can pick them up with a big front end loader or somebody telling you you can't?
My staff.
Okay, so Commissioner Duckham, if I may, I would like administration to have a discussion with the chair and the vice chair as to what we are gonna do around the county when we come to similar problems, because I'm not blaming it on JCDOT, but the public doesn't want to see Jackson County turn into a dumping zone. I think we're all in agreement there, whether it's townships, JCDOT. We've got to have some kind of a plan, whether it's collaboratively working with the townships. Not all townships have DPWs, some do. But we've got to figure something out because we can't just let junk keep accumulating. So if you could kind of look into that, Mike, and we could start discussions, I would appreciate that as chair of this committee.
Absolutely. I would add, just for general public's understanding there, it is, on the face of it, it's a very simple, easy thing. Go pick up a mattress in the garbage adjacent. But when you get into the details, the world we are in with needles that are, who knows what they've been used for, meth labs that we've had officers just touch and be overcome with the drug. So there is ample training that goes into being able to do that sort of thing. It's not a simple matter of just picking it up and throwing it away. Back in the day, maybe, but not today.
Go ahead, Commissioner Duckham.
When could I make a motion on that? I'd like to make a motion on the mattress situation. Could it be made now
Well, I believe,
or into the meeting?
well, we've just heard that the mattresses are being picked up by the property owner. So how about we wait until Tuesday night? And if they still aren't, then we could potentially take action.
I'll make a motion to get around that.
You make a motion to what?
If they're not picked up by Tuesday night, authorize the administrator to arrange the removal of those mattresses at a cost not to exceed $1,000.
Can you direct that to the administrator's office? Would you be willing to do that?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Bear.
Thank you. My first comment was addressing your monthly report. And I've got a second comment on repair work that was done on Lansing Avenue. Lansing Avenue, starting about a mile north of Berry Road, is in terrible condition. And after some residents called me, I went out there and looked at that Friday, spoke with a few residents, and I've got some photos. So there's areas of, long areas, 15 feet of incredibly rough pavement where looks like the top inch and a half that the residents say was applied 3 years ago is just spalling off. So there'll be a 10-foot-long area where it's all deteriorated. So Friday, some crew came out and they put some patch in little portions of it. But when you've got something that's 10 feet long, all crumbled, and you patch a little spot, you've really done nothing, because it is so rough to drive that area. Fixing one little spot just doesn't do anything. So the residents and myself, after going out there and looking at it, are questioning, if you're not going to fill the entire area to make it actually drivable, why spend the material and the money to do anything? Because after the material and the man hours were spent, that area still isn't drivable. What's the logic behind just patching a little spot and?
So without being out there to see exactly what you're talking about, it sounds like we filled the deeper holes, and you described to me a shell out, which is the top layer of asphalt coming off, so 1.5 inches of material coming off, and you can't put or hot mix in that. That's when we go out with our Durapatcher to fix that. So it's 2 different fixes that have to fix that area. That's why they did the deeper holes with the hot HMA. And then we have 2 Durapatchers starting up this week because the weather's allowing the emulsion to be using those now. I can't guarantee that those are headed out there right now to do it, but that's what would go out there to fix the shell outs, is what we call them.
All right, just pass on the comment from the residents that
Yeah, we get that comment a
they didn't
lot.
see any value in the material and man hours that were spent, because it really didn't change anything.
Okay,
Right, we had some
thank
other,
you.
Commissioner Walls?
Sorry, I just have a question, Angie. On the MTF payments, we see January, February, and March. But as I recall, and I don't see it here, I may have missed it, we were still missing October, November, and December after that new law was passed in late September. Did we ever receive any monies, MTF monies, for the last quarter of 2025?
Well, we received payments, and they're logged in there and under the 25 months. They're down. Yeah.
Okay, and, Commissioner Williams first, did you have something? No. Okay, Commissioner Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the courtesy. I appreciate it very much. Angie, I tried to take notes on the Albion Road Bridge and the King
We can email
Road
you.
thing, but I didn't catch it. And if you would just remind me, please, on Albion, did I hear starting soon with traffic on October 13th, I think I heard.
Yeah, okay, there.
And not finished, but not finished like till spring. So it's going to be kind of like it'll be open, but not quite finished. Is that what I understand?
So, yep, it's starting after the July 4th holiday.
Okay.
And then they'll have the structure open to traffic on by October 13th.
Okay.
And then they'll have punch list items that will be completed by the end of the next construction season. Not end of it, but into the next construction season.
Okay, perfect. Then as to King Road, and I'm getting a lot of complaints or comments, I guess, because the King Road closure combined with the Albion Road closure means that, there's a closure on the detour. So it's difficult
Gotcha.
for folks to get around. So remind me what's going on with King Road then and what that will be?
So that's a mill and fill on the deck there, and it's going to start May 14th.
Okay.
And it could take just a couple days if everything goes well, but we're saying a couple weeks because if they mill that off and then they have some more work to do before they can repave that deck, they'll have to do that.
So plan on a couple weeks to be safe.
Yep.
So hopefully by the end of May, let's say,
Yeah, I would.
it should be open. I will get very pointed questions tonight in my area, so.
Okay.
Thank you for the update, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for the courtesy. Appreciate it very much.
Yes. Just to add on, I know every commissioner is frustrated, as you are, with road conditions. Portage Road, I continue to get calls frequently on it.
Okay.
I know you guys have been out there and patched it a few times. I know it's still not on the schedule for anything that I see, but if the team could at least assess it and at least pay particular attention to the stretch between Ann Arbor Road and Page Ave of Portage Road.
Sounds like someone's coming behind me. I don't know why.
We are doing the section of Portage Road south of Michigan Ave.
Okay,
So we're doing that mile and a half stretch through there. So I just
that's
wanted
good news.
We're doing that section.
All right, I will relay that the next time I get a phone call. Thank you very
Is
much.
that the section you were talking about?
Yeah, it's part of it, yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
You got the other section in your head?
Yep.
I won't write it down.
And, okay, at that, thank you. Yes, Commissioner Williams.
Just one quick question. Are you fully staffed?
Are we fully staffed?
Is that
And
a
you're
loaded
probably
question?
wondering union-wise, right?
Yes.
We're down a couple. I can't tell you how many, but we were fully staffed, and then we had, I know of 2 people in my head that have departed us. I can get you that. I'll email all commissioners with our staffing.
Administrator Overton.
Thank you. I just want to, especially for folks who might be seeing this later, explain what we're doing out there on the roads. Because it's, any road you drive, there's going to be problems. I drove South Jackson Road yesterday. In fact, I ended up sending in a pothole, a rim buster, I call it, complaint, so that it gets, I gave the address, its location, even though there's probably a dozen other places on South Jackson Road where, you know, it's lost 1.5 inches or whatever, scaling, whatever you call that, and it's not comfortable to drive on, but I'm doing 50, 55, 60, and I could drive on it. But that one pothole was a rim buster. I avoided it, called it in, because those rim busters can cause death. It's just that simple. They cause accidents, people can die. So we send people out in the spring, every spring, it's just every year we do this, to fix rim busters, because we do not have the money or resources. We'd have to have a couple dozen crews out there 24/7 to skip, pave, and do all these roads to make them as they will be in, say, August, immediately. And we don't have the money or the people, equipment, nothing to do that. So we have to focus on things that can hurt people. And legally, once a pothole, a rim buster, is reported, we have 30 days to fix that. If we don't fix it and someone literally gets hurt or loses a rim or whatever, we're liable on that. We'll have to pay for that. I can assure you, we have less money then if we start paying for things like that. So we have to, and it's no different than any battlefield situation or even a trauma situation in a hospital. You know, they have to go through and evaluate, who do they treat first? You got to treat rim busters first. We don't have the money to go through and do a 1/4 mile of skim coat or whatever you call it, skip paving, because we just can't. If we do that, we have to not do the rim busters. We won't get to them, and someone's going to die on the other end of the county. And we have, what, 1,600?
Miles.
Is that lane miles or road miles?
Road miles.
1,600 are road miles, so double it if you want to call lane miles, darn close. That's a lot of miles. So it's, and you have at least, what was it, 4 contractors out there?
4 contracted crews,
Yes, and then we have 1 or 2 of our own?
at least, yes.
At least, yeah. So we have full resources to bear, given the people, equipment, and money available. So, I know you guys, I feel the same way. I hear it all the time. But we have to keep educating our populace. When they asked about why they were out here, they fixed 1 hole and they left the other 6. The other 6 aren't going to kill you. That 1 hole may. That's why. If you'd be so kind as to help us in that area, it'd go a long way.
Mike, I do.
It's the
okay?
truth.
But I'm going to be honest with you, the general public does not want to hear it.
I know they don't, but we have to tell them anyways. We have to give them the message, whether they hear
And I
it
do.
or not.
I feel like we're lying to them,
It's no, we're not. We're telling the truth.
and then it don't happen.
No, it does. Every rim buster gets fixed within 30 days, because I see the claims all the time from those rim busters.
It's been almost 2 months for Ponderosa Drive.
Is there a rim
And it's a
buster?
rim buster with my 4-wheel drive.
It's all rim busters. It's,
Oh, Ponderosa, I haven't been out
but
there.
it's a 25 mile per hour road.
I get what you're saying. There's
There-
priority.
that's true.
On
That's-
the faster roads first.
And it's not legally, it's not a set 30 days and we can be sued. It's case law that says within 30 days, that's reasonable to fix the rim busters. on higher speed roads.
We have to do the higher speed, and you're
They're
right. I haven't been in Ponderosa. I'm sure there are rim busters there. And at 25, you either go around them or I don't know what.
Or go slow. I mean, it sucks.
No, it's always been the policy, Phil.
There's 3 bus stop pickups there
It's
every
always been
day.
a
That's why we're doing a
You get a
skip
complaint
patch.
of a rim buster, tell them, well, you start driving 25 and it won't bother you.
Now, if it's in a,
People don't wanna hear it.
if it's in a subdivision, well,
Start-
you know what, Phil, I hear you. I don't want to say it either, but it's the truth. I have an obligation to tell the truth. I could lie to them and say, oh, we'll be right on that, but that's just making me a liar, and I won't do
That's
that.
what we've been doing.
No, we tell
No.
the truth.
This road has been on the sheet for 4 months probably.
And somebody said we patched it. It's just a aging road that we constantly have to go back.
Check and see if
It-
it's patched properly.
Our staff does. That's what we have superintendents for. I go out and drive, yes, but I can't tell you I go to every single road.
What do your supervisors do through the day? I submit they should be out on the road.
I drive around.
And
Yes,
they
you
should
do.
be finding the holes to patch, not wait for the people to call in.
Okay.
It goes both ways. I mean, you know,
We're going
it's not my job to call them in either, but I found one, I called it in. I think that's the
We-
responsibility of everyone, even the people sitting around this table here.
We,
Going backwards.
we don't only patch
We
the
will
roads
go
that people
backwards
call in.
Until the governor ever comes through with fix the damn road statement, because we don't have nearly the money to do what we really believe needs to be done. And complaining here is not gonna solve that problem. We need to keep working as diligently as we can on it.
What do we tell the people?
The truth.
We'll get to it someday.
No, the truth.
We'll get to it someday.
Well, that's true.
We ask them to call in the potholes and we will schedule crews out there.
Yeah. But just know that you're right. The subdivision will not be a priority over the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit road.
Correct.
And I would defy anybody to argue otherwise. Are you telling me Ponderosa should be more important?
No.
Than a 55-mile-an-hour road?
Can I add, can,
It can't
Had a
be.
fire engine.
All right, I've said enough.
Fire engine in Columbia Township, bust a wheel and rim, tire on Hewitt Road.
okay, can I ask a question? What's the estimate that the primary roads, the high speed roads will be all addressed? Do we have a time estimate on that?
All, no.
No.
We do it through the whole summer.
Okay.
I mean, we have those 4 contracted patching crews on all summer because potholes pop up constantly.
Yeah, oh, I know.
So I can't give you a timeline.
Okay. It's just, that's difficult when you're trying to explain to residents, it is a priority, but it's not the priority because of these. Well, when will those be done so ours will be addressed? It would just be nice if we had some kind of time estimate, but I understand what you're saying. So I don't think we need, Commissioner Walls.
Angie, I know this has been a bit of a rough meeting for you, and it's what we're getting as well. But I do want to end with a compliment on my end on Comball Road between Michigan Avenue and Bone Road. There was a contractor out there, a single white truck. It didn't have a name on the side. I will tell you, that man did the best job that I have ever seen, and I would like to see him get a compliment for that and his company be recognized.
Okay. I will do that. Thank you.
All right. Well, Commissioner Bear, and then we'll come back to you, Commissioner Duckham, and then let's move on, please.
I know the pothole patching is a big issue. And we don't have the time we haven't taken the time to really clean the pothole to make sure that the patch that we put into it stays there for 5 years. Can we possibly do a test study? Pick a 1 mile stretch of, you pick any road, and every pothole in that test area, we don't just take an air hose and blow the water out because the asphalt's still wet. But in that test area, blow the water out, take a torch, heat the asphalt to evaporate the water out that is saturated into the asphalt, apply an asphalt emulsion to make the surface ready to receive the asphalt, and then put in the asphalt patch and compact it. That would be a much more expensive way to patch, but in the study area, if we can watch that road for 5 years, and if the potholes that are patched with more effort, more prep going into it, if 5 years later those potholes are still fixed, that patch hasn't popped out, then maybe we could consider doing that in more places. Any possibility of just doing a 1 mile test zone?
I will leave that up to the board. I'm listening to you guys tell us that we're not getting to potholes fast enough, and we have so many of them that we have to get to. To do that would take an unreasonable amount of time. And to answer the statement of 5 years, there's no way a pothole is going to stay in, or mix isn't stay in for 5 years, because that's new virgin mix going in, and the material around it is old that's going to deteriorate around it. So there's no way to get it to stay 5 years. So I think that would be a waste of our time and money to do that, because what the answer is, we have to get the funding in, which is coming, so that we can start doing more preventive maintenance fixes on the surface to seal off the surface.
Okay, thanks for your comment, appreciate it.
Commissioner Duckham.
I want to start this off, Angela. I'm not upset with you, okay?
Okay.
I'm not trying to make your life harder. It's just, this is what we're getting from the populace. And we just tell them, you'll be there. And sometimes they go out there and they scoop into the asphalt and they throw it 10 foot towards the hole. And do it till the hole looks like it's full. They don't run over it to pack it down, nothing like that. That's why I wonder what, maybe it's just needs more supervision. They don't seem to be into their job, okay?
Well, I would like to know where you see that. If you see it on the highway, that's one thing, but if you see it on county roads, then I need to know that.
That's county
Because that
roads,
is
yeah.
not what our superintendents see out there.
I don't mean to make your morning difficult. It's
No,
just
I
we're-
just can't do
we-
anything if I
we've-
don't know where that's happening to follow up on it.
That's why I submit supervisors should, if the populace can see the holes and then call them in, they wonder why you don't see the hole and fix it before they have to call in. And that's the kind of logic that we face. And they're right. I mean, we shouldn't have to call in a section of road that looks like it's been bombed out in Iran. And that's what Ponderosa looks like. It has been bombed.
You don't have to call it in, but if you want it to get on the list, we drive the roads, yes, but our crews are scheduled to go places. They do report back when they see bad potholes. We put it in the system. We have our superintendents, the 3 that drive the roads, and they also put in the system and prioritize roads. It's just more people reporting gives us more information. The more information we have, the better we can do as an agency. So you don't have to tell your people to call it in. We just ask you to because it really helps with our planning and our efficiency.
Well, I apologize if I got you upset, but
No, I just don't
mean,
have answers, and I feel bad
you're
when
a
I
good
can't give you
person.
guys answers.
I don't mean to jump on your back, but kind of the buck stops with you. And
I understand that.
they just don't seem to be working what we're doing. So I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there's no other comments, we're going to move along here. I'd like a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear,
Support.
supported by Duckham. No discussion, correct? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That will take us to the last item for JC dot, that's the, well, actually, it's the administrator item. Administrator Controller updates to policy 8350, road sign policy, Administrator Overton. That's what is listed.
This is a JDOT policy, yes. So Angie, I can't explain the update to the policy, but yes, we handle all the updates because they go into our updated policies, so yes.
Yeah, I read it. It's there. I didn't know who's Deborah's good addressing.
Well, so Angie can answer any questions, but this is a revamp of the policy, the previous policy. That's why there's not a red line version attached, because it's an entire rewrite. The previous policy, I believe, was pretty short and
Short and had no details.
it didn't have a lot of details and specifics. So the new policy is, that's why, again, there's not a red line attached. It's just an entire rewrite. So if you have any questions, Angie can help you with those. I'm not
All right,
familiar.
we'll start with Commissioner Bear. Looks like he has.
Thank you. There's two policies, 8350 attached for this item. There's a one-page 8350 and a three-page 8350. The one-page 8350, we have a red line.
Yeah, that's the previous one.
It
That's
says
the old
previous.
policy we're updating.
That's the previous one?
Yeah, it's in
And why are-
parentheses, it says previous policy.
Okay, it looks like we are receiving a red line for us to evaluate. So the one-page policy 8350 that's attached is void. We're throwing this one away?
No,
I'm trying to open it. I already looked at it.
I can't hear you. Get closer to your microphone. What are we doing with the one-page 8350?
8350, it says previous policy in parentheses. The other one says draft final, and that's the longer version, which is the one that we are asking for approval today. The one that says previous policy is the one that was the previous one that we want to amend.
the red line you see was just when it was amended before changing the name of our agency.
I don't see the words on here, previous policy.
It's
I don't
Under
see
the
any.
attachment,
under the,
the
on
name
your
of the
computer,
attachment.
go to your attachment. It's the name of the actual file. I see what you're going from what you printed off. But when you printed that off, the titles of it under the attachment names, the red line one is the final. That's what we'll be voting on today. The bottom one is the previous policy. So you printed
That's
off
not, Margie, I can
voting
find
on,
this.
and you printed off the previous policy.
Show you, because I have it up. I was trying to save you a minute.
The one pager,
Is the previous
what's on
policy.
Civic, what's on Civic here is identical to what I printed out.
Look at the title of the attachment.
He's looking at what he
Procurement, replacement of roadside signs not approved by Jackson County Department of Transportation.
Previous policy. In parentheses, it says previous policy.
Not on that. Here, Tony, is where she's.
Where do you
wanting to
see
look.
parentheses? Show me the
Right
parentheses.
right here, when you open it up. It's back a page.
Okay, so it's not in the policy. The parentheses in that are not in the policy. They're
No,
not here.
because that's the existing
But they're
policy right
in
now.
just your title that
Correct.
we can click on to
That's
bring
how
up
we
the
always do
policy.
it.
They wouldn't write previous policy on the policy, Tony.
That's how
Because
we
we
always
can't
do it.
change policy.
Well, if this is a previous policy,
Tony,
meaning that
the
it's not
first
current,
attachment is the
why are we even
changes that we're
keeping it
voting on.
around?
The second attachment is the previous policy. I can't be any clearer than that.
say that one more time.
The first attachment that you printed off, the one that says policy 8350, roadside policy draft final, that's what we're voting on. Those are the changes that were made. The second attachment that you printed off, policy 8350, is the previous policy. That's what we changed. We're not voting on that. That's current policy.
Okay,
Okay. Good?
so then if I'm getting into the proposed policy, the three-pager,
Yep.
if you go to the second page, paragraph D, street name signs, the last part of it says, township or individual for a fee as outlined in the board-approved fee schedule. Where is that fee schedule, and can we get it attached to this policy? So when people are reading this policy, they know what the fee is.
The fee schedule changes every year. You get it in September with the budget. And so it changes every year. That's why we don't attach it to policies, because it's updated every year with the budget.
Well, if we can't attach it, then put in brackets here, the fee schedule can be found, and give them the link to where it is. I wouldn't know where to go look up our fee schedule. Yeah, we voted on it months and months ago, but I think this needs to be improved. Give somebody direction on how to get to the fee schedule, rather than just say one exists somewhere. On page 3, item 3, sign request. All sign requests must be submitted in writing to the county highway engineer. Who is that? Is that like the county clerk elected? Is that like the county drain commissioner? Who is the county highway engineer?
That would
be Angie.
Okay, can we update this, make this more clear? If our county highway engineer is the director of Jackson County Department of Transportation, let's say so.
The problem with doing that is if you guys get sick of me and get rid of me and the new manager is not an engineer, they would not be the county highway engineer. So if I were to leave and you had just a general manager in my position, Charlie would be the county highway engineer. So we don't put specifics like that in case there's change, because then you have to update the policy.
Well, then let's make it abstract.
The county
The
highway
county highway
engineer
engineer
is what the law also says.
Can be located through the Jackson County Department of Transportation office. Tell people where to go look.
We've never had an issue with them finding us for this. Just the policy. They come to our office, they know it's us that they file requests with.
Let's not wait till we have an issue. Let's make it clear.
It's clear to most people. County highway engineer, I'm going to call JCDOT and ask for that individual. I don't know how much more clear you need to be.
Okay, paragraph 4. Political sign removal will be at the sole discretion of the county. What is the county? Is that the Board of Commissioners, the administrator, Jackson County Department of Transportation? Let's define this, not just at the discretion of the county. The county is 160,000 residents. So let's define county.
What are you suggesting?
Where will this go through? Will that go to the Board of Commissioners? Would that, if somebody wanted a political sign removed,
I'd call JCDOT, who would then talk to the administrator.
if JCDOT is where the call should go, then let's replace county with JCDOT.
What's that?
We can put designation of JCDOT or a designee, like in the first paragraph sentence. Because again, this policy is what the townships that have the agreement with us are enforcing also.
Okay. I would like that change. Actually, I'd like all three of these changes. Say something about where you can find the fee schedule. Say something about where we can find the county highway engineer. And who to call about political signs. I guess I need those changes before I can approve this.
Well, you'd need to make those motions, because I don't think any of the other commissioners are suggesting that. But if you want to make motions, we'll see if you can get a second, and we'll vote on it. You have a motion to make?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
First motion. Under paragraph 2, policy, subparagraph 2, sign category and policy application, subparagraph D, street name sign, third bullet point. I move to add a statement telling citizens where they can find the fee schedule.
Is there support for the motion? Is there
Okay, I'll make
support?
another motion on page 3.
Seeing no support, that motion dies from lack of support. Do you have any further motions?
Yes,
Okay.
on page 3, item 3, sign request procedure. I move that we provide a better definition or identify how to get a hold of the county highway engineer.
Is there support for the motion? I see no support for the motion. It dies from lack of support. Do you have any further motions?
Yes.
Okay.
On page 3, paragraph 4, removal of signs. Under political signs, sign removal will be at the sole discretion of the county. I would like the word county taken out and replaced with Jackson County Department of Transportation.
Is there support for that? Dies from lack of support.
I understand.
Takes us back to the original updated policy. Is there any other commissioners that have questions or would like to discuss any issue? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to forward it to the full board with recommendation of approval. Moved by Duckham, supported by Walls. I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Duckham,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bear,
No.
Commissioner Walls. Committee Chair Kennedy.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-1.
thank you. Thank you, Angela. It's been a fun day for you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Well, let's just go this way. Takes us to item 5A. We're looking for a motion to pay the claims. Moved by Williams, supported by Duckham. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay. You got that noted, Bears and A, okay. And takes us to other minutes. See anything of worth mentioning on that? Okay. And Samantha's been updating those. We didn't used to see these, but there's meeting minutes in there for you guys to take a look at if you want to see them. And that takes us to the second opportunity for public comment. And this public comment session is open to any remarks. Please approach.
Comments on two areas. First of all, Commissioners, thank you for the policy on signs. I think that'll go a long ways towards allowing townships to assist in keeping the right-of-way clear of signs. On the other hand, on trash in the roadway, I've got to be living in an alternate universe. It's unacceptable, in my opinion, I think in the public's opinion, for JCDOT to come out and push trash to the side of the road and leave it. It's just unacceptable. I think I heard a comment that they don't have equipment to move the mattresses and they don't have the training. I find it incredulous that we think that JCDOT does not have equipment. I've got a small tractor with forks on the front. I could move all those mattresses into a trailer or a dump truck in 10 minutes, as JCDOT could. Specialized training. I'll be honest, I went out to that place where the mattresses were and picked through the trash and found out who probably dumped it. Our department's likely going to prosecute them. I don't have specialized training. They were out there at least once, and I think if I read the email right, they moved them to the side of the road without specialized training. This is what the public sees. That's not acceptable. It makes all of us look bad. But thank you for your action on the signs and hopefully resolving this.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? I do not see anyone unless JCDOT people want to come up as, no? Okay. Public comments closed. Takes us to committee member comments. Are there any committee member comments? I know there are. No?